Hey everybody, welcome back to Tech Odyssey. So today I'm here to talk about the brand new Nintendo Switch OLED and 5 reasons why it's better than the old Nintendo Switch. I have the original one. I've got it right here and I've had it since day one. And there are definitely some key improvements on the OLED other than just this brand new screen. Because instead of having the not so great, not so bright, kind of dull, LCD screen that's on the original Switch, this one has this big, bright, beautiful OLED, better colors, lots of other stuff, but there's 4 other reasons why you should stay tuned and watch and find out what the key upgrades are to find out if you should go buy one or not. But before we get into that, I do want to say if this is your first time stopping by the channel, thank you for being here. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Let's talk about these upgrades. So first things first, we're going to talk about the easiest low-hanging fruit, which is the OLED screen. It now has this nice, big, beautiful, bright screen. Not only is it an OLED, and a lot of people, it doesn't seem like this has been captured very well out in the media, in the advertisements. It actually has a larger screen. So the original one has these big bezels around it. It actually has a 6.2-inch screen for viewing space diagonally. And now in addition to having the OLED screen, it's also 7 inches diagonally. So you can see here the bezels are substantially smaller, which means you get a bigger, better viewing space. So you're going to get better contrast, better brightness, better colors, more viewing space. It does feel larger and it feels like a much more premium device because of the screen. I never was a big fan of the original screen on the first Switch. It was good enough. I mean, it was fine when it came out, but it just wasn't really all that exciting. It was cool to be able to have the handheld capability, but now you can really enjoy it a lot more. So if you like to play this in a handheld configuration, you are going to love it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the new stand on the back. So you've got this stand that pops out, and not only does it pop out, but whenever you pop it out, you can position it. And this reminds me a lot of like the Microsoft Surface Pros, because you can pivot and articulate it and set it up however you want. The one on the original one was just that tiny little tab that popped out, and it was either open or closed. So this gives you a lot more optimum viewing angles, even going down much farther. And one of the reasons I like this is because if you like to travel, especially playing on like a plane, you can't get a really good angle on this. So if you're trying to sit there in your chair, you're sitting in coach, and you had the original one, it was like really not all that great. Now this one, you can really set it up to where you can get a much better viewing experience and playing experience. So that's the second thing. You have this much, much better stand, and it's much more robust. It's on there and built way, way better. And of course, it takes up almost the whole back of the screen. The original one, you can see it's not even on there anymore because my kids broke this thing off like that. It pops off and pops back on pretty easily, and it would if it weren't lost. So that's a big plus here. This one, it doesn't come off. It's not something that just pops off. It's not flimsy. Very, very good. So that's item number 2. The third one is the build quality. Now, on the original one thing that I've never liked is these controllers. They seem very, very rickety. Like they feel very loose and they move around. It's something that's never been all that inspiring to me as far as from a quality perspective. This one, from as soon as I've taken it out of the box, it feels more sturdy. It feels more secure. Maybe it just takes more time to break in. I don't know. But as far as having this one on here, there is a little bit of give and play, but it's like 20% compared to the one on my original Switch. So I don't know if that's an advertised upgrade, but just from having it and using it for the last couple of days, it seems a lot more tight. It seems like a much tighter, well-built ship. So I do appreciate that. So those are the first 3 things. The fourth thing is the upgraded internal storage. You and I know that on the original one, with the 32 gigabytes of storage, you weren't saving a whole lot of games on here. So being able to have twice as much storage, yeah, the price is a little bit more expensive. But when you look at $349 versus $299, I'll gladly take the extra storage. I'll gladly take the bigger, better screen. It makes for a much better playing experience. So having 64 gigabytes of internal storage in here, as opposed to the 32 on the original one, that is a real big win as well. So if you like to play a lot of games on here, then you're going to have more native storage space before you have to go and reach for an SD card. It still has the SD card slot up to 2 terabyte support. You can see the position on the original one. They did change it up ever so slightly. It's still hidden back behind the stand, but it's right here. It's horizontal instead of vertical, and it seems like it might be a little bit easier to get to. So that's the fourth reason why you should consider upgrading it, and why it's a better platform than the original one. So that's four. The last thing I want to talk about is the LAN port. So on the stand now, the docking port that comes with it, there is an actual hardwired LAN cable. This is important. When the first Switch came out, there wasn't a whole lot out there you were really playing online. I mean, I don't even remember, I don't think Nintendo Online was really even available for many games when it came out. I think Bomberman might have been it. So the online system and online games have really gone a long way. You've got Fortnite now, you've got Apex, you've got all these different competitive games on there. You want to have the best ping possible. You want to have the best dedicated connection. The wireless is perfectly fine, but we all know that wireless is not as good quality. You're not going to get as fast a speed. You're not going to get as reliable connection, and you're not going to have the ping that you want whenever you're playing. So having a dedicated LAN port on the dock, that's going to give you some extra enhancement whenever you want to play your games, especially competitively. That's something that I appreciate. Now, if you play in the handheld configuration, you're not going to get any extra benefit. It's got to be in the dock. So that's a really big improvement. Also, this is kind of glossed over, but the original Switch, it had problems with the docking stand because the way it was designed, it would end up scratching up your Nintendo Switch screen if you took it in and out all the time. I actually have some of those scratches on my original Switch, and it's something that I found particularly frustrating because as soon as I started using it within the first week, I noticed those little scratches on the screen. The new dock, not only having the LAN port on there, also is more open, it's more secure, and it's not something that's going to mess up your screen. So that's also another plus. It's not really talked about all that much. If you have an original one and you got your screen all scratched up from sliding it in and out, you don't have to worry about that anymore with this one. So that's kind of like 6 things, but there are definitely some upgrades. I think $50 is, I think, a fair price for what you get. Now, it still has the same hardware under the hood. Whenever you play it, it's still a 720p screen. It's still 1080p max whenever you connect it to your TV. So if you don't play this in a handheld configuration, you're not going to get all the benefits. It's got the same processor, the same memory, the same battery. They didn't do anything to increase the actual gameplay performance. It's all in the experience of holding and viewing the console. So you get the extra storage to install stuff, you get a better stand, you get a better docking port with the LAN on it, you also get the better screen, which is larger, and I think that they made some really good key improvements here. If you have a current Switch and you play it a lot, if you play in handheld mode, you're really going to see and appreciate these upgrades. If you just play it in the dock all the time using your TV, really there's not any reason to go out and buy this whatsoever because you're just not going to experience it. It's one of those things where if you use it as a portable gaming device, then yes, it's great. The screen looks beautiful, and even it has improved speakers, at least from what I was reading. They sound better, they sound more crisp. They're definitely improvement over the Lite. I think the Lite and the original one have the same speakers. I didn't dive into this too much. It's just a tertiary thing, but they are positioned differently and I think do have better sound on the bottom. So this could have been like the 7 things that are better about the Switch OLED. Again, if you've got a Switch and you don't really care for this stuff, maybe don't go out and buy it. If you don't play in handheld mode, don't go out and buy it. Save your money and keep playing on the one you have because nothing is different. Now, if you like to play in handheld mode, you like all these things, then I think it's a definite win and an upgrade. Maybe you can even trade in your original one if you want to get rid of that so you can save some money. But I like it a lot. It's impressive, and I think the screen is absolutely gorgeous. So that's all I've got in this video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those down in the comment section. I will get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.